Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a fabulous morning. I just realized that I didn't check my sound. While I wait for a few of you to get on here, I'm just gonna, okay, let me make sure. Okay, I hope my sound is okay. I know on Facebook for some reason, my sound comes through differently than on YouTube, and there's very little I can do about that right now. I think partly it's the way my system interacts with Facebook because it doesn't do that for YouTube. So I hope you can hear me okay. And just remember, you have some volume controls on your computer, and sometimes like in YouTube and Facebook, there is a place where you can bump up the volume as well, so take advantage of all of those. So, oh boy, we're sure hot this morning. I woke up this morning and I don't even know what the conversion is because my brain works in Celsius. But for those of you who do Celsius, it felt like 29 degrees at my walk during my walk at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we are in the Boston area. Now, I'm used to hot and humid because we lived in Memphis, Tennessee for 12 years. And down there, it was hot and humid. But today, it kind of felt like it felt in the morning when I would wake up in Tennessee. Maybe not quite as bad because there was a little bit of a breeze that happened, and that was made things a little bit more bearable. But I have not expected that from the New England area, which is typically more moderate in the summer. That's why I feel like in New England, you pay for the really temperate summer by having a worse winter because you have snow but anyway, it wasn't too bad, just as long as we walked early. But I think it's going to be another brutally hot day. I hope it's okay where you're at. Are you having crazy summer weather too? I don't mind the heat just as long as it doesn't get too hot, and thankfully we're in an air conditioned building, so that helps a lot. So I can't complain too much. So anyway, today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And I've been reading that today's card has been giving some people some pause. I actually picked this card. So I think the most important thing to remember with this card is that it is really basically just a banner going across. And I picked it because I think it has a lot of potential. This card, as it is how do I put it? It's a very simplistic card. I think there's a lot that can be done with it. So that's why I picked it. And let's have a look at the sketch. So I personally eliminated the white part of the sketch, the 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. I felt like the main part was to have that diagonal layer going across, and I thought that was really what would make this card special. So that's what I focused on. So I think if you're having trouble with this sketch, I think after you see how I build my card, you won't have as much trouble. I think you will understand how to put it together, and I think you will really enjoy it. So I would personally, unless you have something that will fit in that nice little rectangular layer, I would just keep that big banner layer going across. All right, let's hide these. And let me show you my card for the day. Here it is. Let's have a look at this card. See, I broke down and I just did this big layer, and I love how this card came out. The in colors just working together. We've got Starry Sky and Parakeet Party, and the stamps that I use makes you don't have to do any coloring at all. So it's just really simple. And if you're not a big fan of purples, you just change out whatever color you want for the blossoms. You know, do red blossoms if you want, sweet sorbet or pink or whatever color you like. So I'm going to show you how to get this banner piece across, because I think that is probably the hardest thing on this card, but it's actually not hard at all. Okay, so let's talk about the products real quick. I'm using the Summer Shadow dies, and they both cut out these big blossoms, and there's some extra pieces that I used here, right here. I actually didn't cut these out. I stamped these right onto the card base, but this is just a really nice die set, and this is the shaded summer stamp set. And you know what? I could have also stamped some of the greetings along here too. So if you don't want to get the last stamp set that I'm going to show you, which I used on here, Biggest Wish, you could use one of the greetings from here. But I really like the Biggest Wish. I love these big chunky birthday words and words to put across here. So I'll also show you a little trick for that. But really some really great stamps that I used right there. Okay, and you know what? There isn't a whole lot else to this card, so let's jump in. We'll start with the card base, and this is just thick basic white cardstock. I started off with a half sheet of cardstock, so that's 8.5 by 5.5, and scored it in half at the 4¼ inch mark. And then to stamp, you just want to make sure your card is flat. So I'm using my bone folder to smooth down that fold. And then we're going to bring in these two big blossom stamps. And we're going to stamp one at the top and one at the bottom. And we'll use Starry Sky ink. And I just want to orient this. This is kind of going to go like this. And I'm just going to tip it a little bit like this, up in the top corner. Oh, so easy. I like how it's called, what is it called again? Shaded Summer. And it's true, like the blossoms, you can't really color these ones too well because they are naturally shaded, but that's the joy of this one because you don't have to. So I'm going to stamp this one coming down here. Okay, so there's a couple, I'm going to just move these aside. You can also, there's this little sprig right here. So if you want to fill in a little bit of these pieces, we can just add like a little bit. I'm going to come off here. We'll do right here. Just add some little sprays. And you know, let's leave this for a second. We're going to pause. So to create this banner that comes across here, I cut a piece of cardstock a little longer than my card front. So this is 7 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. And I'm just going to lay this across here where this is going to go. And this is going to help me kind of decide if I want to add any extra sprigs. I see here there's like a little of a bald spot. So I'm going to come in here and just add a little sprig right there. And the way I'm orienting this is I'm coming down about maybe 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch here, and the same distance here. So I'm just kind of orienting across and having a look. I could add a little sprig right here. So I'll just kind of tuck this in right there, like that. And you know, I noticed over here, when I kind of wished I had put something over there, so I'm going to add this one, turn it, And I'll put a sprig coming out right here. All right, I think I am sprigged out. I think I like the way that looks. So I can put this stamp away. And now I'm going to bring in Parakeet Party. This is going to be for the greeting right here. And a couple of things that will help you with this. Happy and birthday are two separate stamps. So this here is an H block. And the one thing about our blocks, I love them because they have these nice rounded edges for gripping, but sometimes on this edge there's a bit of distortion, so you have trouble seeing down exactly where your stamp is going. So what I did on this stamp is I placed my happy birthday closer to the top of the block rather than centering it, so that I have a little extra room down here at the bottom, and that's going to help me see my cardstock better. It's going to help me see the edge better so that I can stamp it exactly where I want it to go. I also made sure, because I want to have happy birthday on here, plus I want to add this blossom over here. I want to make sure that my happy and birthday are really close together. So basically there is no gap between happy and birthday, but just because there's an edge right there, there still looks like there's a space between my happy and birthday. So even if you butt them up right against each other, there will still be a gap, but they're very close together on here. So that's just my tip. I like to stamp this on here because I can kind of see where I can place my happy and birthday, and I still have some room to play a little bit, moving it up or down however I want. So let me ink this up in the Parakeet Party. These are both Starry Sky and Parakeet Party are both in colors, and I'm going to add this right about here. And you'll notice sometimes with Parakeet Party, when you first stamp a big bold stamp, you're going to see that it's a little blotchy, but I want to show you it actually dries less blotchy, so it actually does smooth out. So I just kind of ignore that and for the moment, unless it continued after it dried. So I just want to orient this now where it's going to sit. I want to make sure my Y doesn't get cut off here, okay? And I want to make sure that this extends right to the edge. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to know where to put adhesive on, because we're going to put adhesive on here first, and then we're going to cut off these ends, but I want the adhesive to go pretty close to the end. So what I do is I put my finger on it once I like the placement, and I'm going to put my thumb on here and kind of pin it down without moving, turn it over in a spot, and I'm just going to trace a little pencil line on the back along the banner. Okay, so now I know I want to put adhesive between here and here, and adhesive. So I'll just sketch in some adhesive. I'm not going to go right to the pencil line, but close enough so that it's not going to lift up at the edge. And then I'm going to come back in and place this. And since I kind of knew where I was going to place it, actually, if you wanted to, you could place it over from this side and you place it back with the pencil marks where they were. Let's see. Yeah, I want a little bit shifting that way, a little bit shifting this way. With glue, you have time to play a little bit. Okay, I don't want my Y to come off. All right, that looks good. So once you've got that pushed down, Now we can open up the card and take our paper snips and just trim off that excess. And there's no adhesive on these pieces, but there is adhesive going right to the edge. All right, so you can see the card is starting to take shape. And now we want to die cut this little blossom that's going to go over here. So I've got my cardstock. I've got Starry Sky and Orchid Oasis, and I've got Parakeet Party and Granny Apple Green. These are really good combinations. I'm going to take my little mini boss, if I can find my little platforms. I got them over here. All right, and remember, I'm going to use my light gray platform instead of my my white one. Normally they say to use the number 1 plate for die cutting, but for my machine it doesn't run through very well. It's a little too thick, but this little gray platform does the trick wonderfully. You'll also need a number 2 cutting plate for the bottom and 1 for the top. And we'll bring in the Shaded Summer. And let's do the leaves first. I've got Granny Apple and Parakeet, and the bold part is going to be, the bottom piece is going to be in Parakeet Party, and the top one is going to be in Granny. So we'll just place those dies on there. Second plate comes on top, and then we'll run these through the little mini boss machine. So nice to have on my desk. And then I've got my little die cuts, and I'm going to move this over to my garbage can. I'm just popping out the little chads very easily. Okay, let's scoop those into the garbage too. And then we'll take the blossom pieces, and they're right here, and we'll do the bold one. This time it's going to be in Orchid Oasis. Turn that a little bit. And then the detail part is going to be in Starry Sky. And then we'll run those through. Okay. This. Move this one. Okay, this one's going to be stubborn, so we'll just take a little poking tool, a pin, a piercing tool, that will work. Thumbtack, skewer, something that's pointy. And then I'll throw this away. Take your pick tool, also has one, and then this bold part, these go in the garbage. All right, and then I can put my machine away. All right. And then we'll take these pieces and we'll glue them together. And I'm not going to put glue all over, but I'll just put some dots in the boldest areas here. And I'm going to put this down here. Okay. My Instacart is picking so early this morning. Okay, I'm just gonna I try not to have it pick. Sometimes I don't even do Tuesdays, but our son is visiting from Canada. He goes to university up in Canada. And yeah, I needed to order some things that were running low on. And so, yeah, he's working from home too. So all three of us, my husband, myself, and my son, we're all working from home this week. Okay. So there are the little blossoms. I just glue them together. They just make such pretty little a pretty little embellishment, so to speak. So we'll bring this in, and we need to fit this on here without going off the card if you want to put it in an envelope. And we want to also put this leaf on here. So the easiest thing I have found for arranging them is to arrange the blossom first, okay? So I'm just going to take one dimensional and stick it on here just a little bit closer to, pretty much close to the center, because I want to leave room to shove my leaf under there. But if I just adhere this with one dimensional, I can twist it so that it's on the card without coming off. And I don't want it to bump into my happy birthday. And then I'm going to come in here and just kind of figure out how to place that. Okay, that looks good. So once I figured that out, I'm going to dab some glue on here. And then we'll kind of bring that on here. Twist it just a little bit. I don't want the green to show too much. And there we go. Just add that down there. And then to finish off, I actually wanted to tie a bow. Maybe I have one in here already. This is the 2022-2024 in color Baker's Twine pack. So it matches nicely with all of these colors. And sometimes I tie a bow and I don't use it. So I have like extra bows in here. Here's one, I think, in Orchid Oasis. I think this one will work. Yeah, let's use up a bow that I already have tied up. Just need to arrange it a little bit. Yeah, that will look cute. It's gotten a little twisty. Okay, so I see there's a little spot right here in between the two leaves, and I'm just going to dab some Tombow there. And then I'm going to stick my knot right on there and press down for at least 5 seconds. I really like using Tombow over a mini glue dot to adhere Baker's Twine. I feel like it does like a really good job. I feel like sometimes the glue dots and the tear and tape, they release a little bit with the heat. So I'm just going to push all of those back in. And then we also have some 2022-2024 in color matte dots. Okay. Oh, my order has completely picked. There was only one replacement. Yay. That makes it easier for me. All right. So then we're going to come in here and we're going to add some of these beautiful little dots. And yeah, we'll just add a few. Wherever I want. I think up here. Usually I do like 3. That's usually my number because odds are better than evens, but I could put 1 here, but I kind of like how that looks. And there's my card. I think it's, you know, not too hard at all to make. I think the key thing with this card is learning how to do this banner. And if you have something that's wider, you can make this banner wider. You can make it 2 inches wide if you want. Mine is 1.5 inches. So choose your banner and just like make sure you have enough with coming across here that you have a little room to play with your edges, so that when you cut off, the whole banner will be on here. There won't be any awkward ends on your card. And so I think that just makes it super, super easy to make. So what do you think? I hope you like that card, and I hope you're not intimidated by that layout. I think it's, when you see it, it might be a little bit harder than it looks, but all you need to do is just play around with that banner and maybe eliminate, let's go back to the sketch for a second. See that white layer, that 2 3/4 by 1 1/4 layer? That layer, I think it trips people up. You don't have to include all the layers of the card. I think the main layer of the card is that diagonal layer. So if you just use that layer, it makes it super easy. So we are going on during celebration right now. And I just wanted to pop up my host code. If you are placing an order this month, please use this host code. And I am giving as a gift with a $50 order. I'm just making my thank you cards actually, and I'm using the embellishment that I'm giving away next month. It's this one. They're the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems, and you can see I'm partway through making my cards because I've got a few of these missing. But these are actually really nice. They come in 4 colors. So you can see, I think they're nice for summer, and these ones actually match that gnome suite. So if you like that, this one's a good match for that. So that's my gift that will be mailed out in August. No, in September. My August gift gets mailed out in September, and I'm about to mail off this week all of my July gifts. I'm making the thank you cards this week, and they will be going in the mail at some point. With anyone who placed an order over $50, they get the extra little bonus of the embellishment that I had last month. And then Stampin' Up! Also rewards you. So for every $50 or $100 you spend, you get to choose a celebration product, and there was new items added last week, so there's more to choose from now at both levels, at the $50 level and the $100 level. And if you want to see what those are, click over the very first link, my blog link, down in the description of this video. If you click over there, you will see a banner at the top of my blog, and it says click here, and it will take you to the page with all the celebration items on them, so you can see. And I've marked the ones that have sold out, just so you know which ones are no longer available. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's talk to you guys this morning. I hope you are all well. Good morning, Marcia. Marcia thinks the card's pretty. Thank you. Good morning, Janine and Holly. Janine said, lovely card. You invariably take a set I'm sure I wouldn't like and make me wonder if I know my own mind. I love that. Well, Janine, to that point, I had never seen the shaded summer stamp set before in the catalog. It was introduced in the catalog last year. And one of our team members got to pick a reward from the catalog, and she chose Shaded Summer. And I was like, I have never heard of that stamp set before. So I looked it up in the catalog and I saw it. And I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. And so after... And the greetings were really pretty too. And afterwards, I ended up getting it just because she had gotten it. And so it's really interesting how someone just showing a card or just even mentioning something will make you look at a stamp set differently. You start to think, oh, what did they see in that stamp set that I didn't see? Because I think, okay, the way my brain works when I go through the catalog, I look for concrete images. I'm very bad with abstracts. So if I see a picture of, let's say, an apple, or, I'm thinking, oh, I could make apple projects with that. If I see a picture of a detailed, intricate die that's maybe geometrical, or if it doesn't have something to draw me in, I might never see that stamp set unless someone points it out. So I think that's really interesting that you had that experience with the same stamp set I had. But it is actually a great little set, and no coloring needed for it. So that's a bonus too. And Kimberly Ann was thinking the same thing. Ha, that's funny. So I mean, it's kind of removed 3 to the 3rd generation now because someone else pointed it out to me. Hi, Pam. So glad that you joined us this morning, and thank you so much for sharing. And Kimberly Ann said, very pretty. Thank you. Pam said she'll come back and watch the replay. Great. Yeah, I think the little tips about the banner will be really helpful if you want to make this card. Oh, and Cindy. Hello, Cindy. Oh, you're going to register for On Stage in Vancouver, BC. Oh, that will be lovely. I love Vancouver. Did I fly through there? I'm trying to think. Last time I flew through Calgary when I went. But I'm going to Canada in September to visit my mom in British Columbia, and I'm going to fly through. I think I'm flying through Calgary on the way out, and I'll fly through Vancouver on the way back. But I won't be stopping off in Vancouver. I'm going to the interior of British Columbia rather than Vancouver, the biggest city in British Columbia. But I'll get to stop off at the airport for a couple hours, and I love that airport. It's a really pretty airport. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I think this card is really adaptable. Just give the card sketch a try and see what you come up with. I really do like this one, and maybe I challenge some of you this today with this sketch, but I think it's a good one to go for and give it a try. All right, I will be back on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. I hope you will join me there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.